$11 billion. That is what California's proposed wealth tax could cost Mark Zuckerberg, the single largest potential tax bill on any individual in American history. In early February 2026, the man who built Facebook in a Palo Alto dorm room made his answer clear. He is buying a mansion on Miami's Indian Creek Island for an estimated $150 million to $200 million, and he plans to move in by April. 60 miles up the California coast, another tech billionaire, worth even more, nvidia's Jensen Huang, says the tax has not crossed his mind once. One left, one stayed, and the reason why matters more than either man's net worth. Mark Zuckerberg is the chief executive officer of Meta, the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. The company is valued at roughly $1.6 trillion, and it employs around 67,000 people worldwide, with a personal net worth exceeding $220 billion. Zuckerberg is the fourth richest person on the planet, and for 21 years, he has called California home. Jensen Huang is the co-founder and chief executive officer of nvidia, the semiconductor giant whose chips power the artificial intelligence revolution. nvidia's market capitalization exceeds $4 trillion, making it the most valuable company on Earth. Huang's personal net worth sits around $155 billion. He too has spent decades in Silicon Valley. At the center of this story is the 2026 Billionaire Tax Act, a proposed California ballot initiative that would impose a one-time 5% tax on the net worth of every billionaire who was a California resident on January 1st, 2026. Backed by the Service Employees International Union, the measure aims to raise roughly $100 billion for healthcare, education, and food assistance. The tax would apply retroactively, meaning anyone who is a California resident on New Year's Day is on the hook, regardless of whether they leave afterward. For Zuckerberg, the bill could reach $11 billion. For Huang, nearly $8 billion. The clock started ticking the moment the proposal went public in December 2025. Zuckerberg's move did not happen in isolation. It is the latest and arguably the most consequential domino in a cascade of billionaire departures that has been accelerating since the wealth tax proposal surfaced. On New Year's Eve 2025, Peter Thiel announced that Thiel Capital had signed a lease in Miami's Wynwood neighborhood. The press release was 3 paragraphs long and pointedly noted the lease was signed in December, a detail tax attorneys interpreted as Thiel publicly building a paper trail to establish Florida residency before the January 1st cutoff. Thiel had maintained a personal residence in Miami since 2020. His venture capital firm, Founders Fund, had operated a Miami office since 2021. He had even moved his voter registration to Florida in March 2024. But the timing of the announcement was unmistakable. As one tech reporter noted, the press release existed because Thiel was trying to show publicly that he was a taxpayer in Florida, not California. Google co-founder Larry Page went further. Before the end of 2025, he began transferring multiple business entities, including his family office, Coop LLC, and ventures like FluLab and Dynatomics, out of California to states including Delaware, Florida, Nevada, and Texas. In January 2026, Page paid $173 million for a pair of waterfront estates in Miami's Coconut Grove. His co-founder Sergey Brin is reportedly shopping for homes in Miami Beach. Then came Zuckerberg. According to the Wall Street Journal, the Meta CEO and his wife Priscilla Chan are purchasing a newly completed waterfront compound on Indian Creek Island, the 41-lot private enclave in Biscayne Bay known as the Billionaire Bunker. The island has its own municipal government and a police force that patrols by land and sea around the clock. A single guarded bridge connects it to the mainland. Visitors must show identification and may face vehicle inspections. The property sits on nearly 2 acres of Biscayne Bay frontage. Neighbor Irma Brayman, wife of billionaire auto dealer Norman Brayman, confirmed to the Journal that Zuckerberg planned to move in by April. Douglas Elliman agent Dina Golden-Tayer, a veteran of Indian Creek transactions, whose clients include Jeff Bezos, said that the purchase was one she was actually shocked by, and that she had never heard of Zuckerberg being in the marketplace. She called the acquisition the precise consequence of California's proposed wealth tax. But here's where it gets interesting. While Zuckerberg packs for Miami, Jensen Huang is staying put. Asked whether the proposed tax concerned him, Huang told Bloomberg Television that he had not even thought about it once. He said that nvidia chose to live in Silicon Valley because that was where the talent pool was, and that wherever there was talent, nvidia had an office. He added that whatever taxes California wished to apply, so be it. He was perfectly fine with it. The contrast could not be sharper. And the reason may come down to something more structural than personal philosophy. Meta operates a hybrid work model. Most employees are expected in the office 3 days a week, but the company has maintained meaningful remote flexibility across Facebook, WhatsApp, and its Reality Labs division. Zuckerberg has offices distributed globally: Menlo Park, Seattle, New York, Austin, Dublin, London, Singapore. The company's product is software and social platforms, which do not require physical proximity to specialized hardware or manufacturing ecosystems. In many ways, Meta's CEO could run the company from anywhere with a strong internet connection and a private jet. nvidia is fundamentally different. The company designs the most advanced semiconductor chips in the world. Its $920 million headquarters campus in Santa Clara was purpose-built for in-person collaboration, the kind of spontaneous, cross-disciplinary collision that chip design demands. Huang has said publicly that his team includes more billionaires than any other CEO's management team, and that he personally reviews the compensation of all 42,000 employees. nvidia's entire talent strategy is built around keeping the best chip designers in one place. The talent is in Silicon Valley, and the silicon is in the name. As one financial planner who works with big tech clients put it, the difference reflects temperament as much as business structure. People who want a greater sense of control follow the Larry Page route, while people who have the temperament to endure take Jensen's route. Not everyone agrees that the exodus will be as dramatic as the headlines suggest. Academic research has historically found that the ultra-wealthy do not generally relocate because of taxes. The authors of the wealth tax proposal argued that it was structured as a one-time levy precisely to eliminate long-term incentives to leave. They also pointed out that the retroactive January 1st date was designed so that billionaires could not simply establish a convenient new address after the measure passed. Peter Dreyer, an urban policy analyst at Occidental College, argued that big business and its lobbyists are always crying wolf, suggesting that threats of mass relocation are a familiar tactic used to fight any measure perceived as anti-industry. There's also the question of whether these moves are truly permanent. Some of the details around Zuckerberg's purchase remain murky. A later report from The Real Deal suggested the couple may actually be eyeing a different property on the island: the $200 million on-market listing at 7 Indian Creek Island Road, a compound that would not be completed until mid-2027 at the earliest. If that timeline holds, the purchase alone would not spare Zuckerberg from the wealth tax, since residency was determined as of January 1st, 2026. And the initiative has not yet gathered the 870,000 signatures it needs to qualify for the November ballot, meaning the tax it is designed to avoid may never become law. Even Governor Gavin Newsom has opposed the measure, warning that it could drive high net worth individuals and capital out of California. So billionaires are fleeing a tax that the state's own governor does not support and that voters have not yet approved. The fear, it seems, is doing more work than the policy itself. For regular Californians, the stakes are enormous either way. The proposed tax could generate roughly $100 billion for medi-cal, public schools, and food assistance, funding that proponents say is needed to offset federal healthcare cuts. But if enough billionaires leave, California's Legislative Analyst's Office has acknowledged that ongoing income tax losses could reach hundreds of millions of dollars per year or more. California is home to roughly 250 billionaires who collectively hold nearly $1.6 trillion in wealth. 22% of America's billionaires have business addresses in the state. If even a fraction of that capital migrates permanently, the ripple effects on real estate values, philanthropic giving, startup ecosystems, and state tax revenue could reshape California's economy for a generation. Miami's ultra-luxury market is experiencing what one broker described as COVID 2.0, a second wave of demand from wealthy Californians that is driving prices even higher in a region where ordinary homebuyers are already being priced out. The biggest question may not be whether California can survive losing Zuckerberg. It may be whether the Jensen Huang model, which is to stay, build, and accept the tax, can hold if Huang becomes the exception rather than the rule. nvidia's headquarters are magnificent, but they are also a bet on physical place mattering in a world that is increasingly designed to prove it does not. Two CEOs, $2 trillion companies. One is building a fortress on a private island. The other is building the future of AI from the same campus he has occupied for years. The billionaire tax may never pass, but the lines are already drawn. Capital flight is tracking what happens next.